So we were talking a little bit, Frank's a poker player, obviously, and we were kind of discussing some things. And I actually had a conversation. I'm not going to put the person out there, but I recommended some good books, which I'll actually break out while we're talking here. But our topic now is going to be how to get in the zone, like how to mentally prep, physically prep for, let's say, a tournament, going to the casino, going to a game. Like you have any habits at home or anything you'd like to do beforehand?
Well, I mean, I guess, and I think any poker player, I think a lot of times it's more prep for a tournament than a cash game per se, because, it might be a multi-day thing, or you might be traveling, to Vegas or Florida or wherever for the tournament. I think rule number one, especially when you're traveling and if you're jumping time zones, the whole jet lag thing can really mess you up, as far as getting proper sleep and all, because if you play bigger tournaments that, it's a 10, 12-hour day, and it's a lot of mental thinking, and there you go, the mental game. So I mean, I think that's the biggest thing, especially if you're traveling out of the area, being without sleep, we're all a little bit subpar.
I know it's tough, especially for the weekend warriors, where you're working all week and then you're trying to drive or fly somewhere and get 3 or 4 days in. You're trying to make the most out of your time.
Sure.
But if possible, I would say take that day break before you jump in. So if the tournament's on Saturday, maybe fly out Thursday night.
Absolutely.
Take Friday as a wine day. What we've done before is like Friday's like our golf day, hang out, with the guys, relax day.
You got to get down. You got to get.
And then Saturday we're ready to roll into it. Locally, so I got a couple things, and you want to feel off of this. But first off, I'm gonna throw these out here. I think we've talked about these before, but
Jared,
Jared Tendler, mental game of poker. The second one, though, talks about getting in the zone, so that's a little bit more. But I would recommend reading both. So getting in the zone has definitely been big for me. I try to mentally prep. So a couple things that I do. One, if you watch my book bag episode of what I bring in my book bag, that's always like to be prepared.
Yeah.
Because, like, mentally, if you know everything's there, like you're not where, oh man, I forgot this, I forgot that, oh, I got a headache, now I got to go ask 10 people if I can get some Advil, or
whether it's medicine or eye drops for me. Sometimes something so simple as that. If waters or what have you.
Having your poker book bag, watch that video, go back, watch that one. Have your poker bag ready. That takes off a lot of stress with just the little stuff.
Right.
For me personally, I make sure that I get at least 8 hours sleep before a tournament, before I go there. I make sure the night before I'm not like out all night, like, all right, I'm going to go all night, go and do this. I'm going to play an online grind session all night and do that. Now, like, I make sure I get my 8 hours sleep. That's like always solid in my life. In the morning, I like to work out. So even when I'm in Vegas, I try to work out every single morning. It helps me get in the zone. Nothing like super like, I'm not bench pressing.
You're getting the blood flowing.
Yeah, I'm not doing personal records, in the gym at in Atlantic City, or
no marathon runs or.
But even if like I'm on vacation, even if like I say vacation, but even if I'm on a trip, let's say I'm playing down Florida, the Circuit Series or something, right? And I'm staying at Airbnb and they don't have a gym, I'll go for a jog. I'll go for like a little 20-minute jog just to get the blood flowing.
But that works for you.
Yeah.
And not that works for everybody, but I that's great, because if that's what gets your mind in the right frame, that's the way to do it. You want to be nice and feel good when you get there.
Yeah, just relieving a little bit of stress beforehand. Like I said, if I can work out, great. Like if I can find a little bit of workout room, get a little exercise in, hit the bike for 5-10 minutes. Something, like I said, nothing too strenuous. I don't want to wear myself out before I even get there, because you got a long day. But just something, 20-30 minutes of blood flow going. That helps me a lot. Other thing is eating habits for me, personally. I try to avoid a lot of heavy carbs on the day of tournaments. Like, I'm not eating like pancakes, like tons of cereal.
Heavy stuff.
Yeah,
just
like
lay off the heavy stuff.
Because
you don't want to be like
well,
bloated
that's the problem.
and sitting there.
Your body's like sucking all that fat
lethargic.
in.
You just get lazy and
your mind. It's like, think of like after Thanksgiving dinner, you eat too much. Like you're on the couch and you can't digest, and you're like laying there. So me personally, I usually just get some like egg whites, maybe like I said, nothing too heavy, but maybe a little bit of potatoes and maybe like a vegetable, something like very light but like protein heavy. Is what I like to do before tournaments. I like to get my proteins in the morning and go from there. And then I generally pack some kind of fruits or mixed trail mix.
Man, you make me feel terrible. I eat like crap. So,
Frank's like, listen, here's the deal. Yeah, but listen. Here's the thing, though.
It doesn't.
Your zone is different than my zone.
Agreed. No, I agree 100%. And I it's good. I like always hearing what other people do because that helps me to adjust to some degree. But I'm terrible with eating habits, and now do I definitely get some sleep. I'm not and I play, some travel softball, as you know, and same thing. Like you go away to places, you can go out and have a great night and party. It's like if I got an early game, I don't stay out late. So that being said, you're right. Different prep for different people.
Yeah.
Just like people that show up late. And I mean, I don't know if you want to segue into that or not, but I mean, there's people that show up late. I show up early. I want to see people before I even sit down. That's me. I'm profiling before the first hand is dealt.
Yeah, I'm gonna get into that in a minute. We're gonna get to that next section. Definitely for sure. What about the last thing?
Yeah.
Or maybe a couple things, but let's see. Do you have music that you listen to before you get to what's your go-to
listening
to?
Yeah,
before like driving to, or
I just have such a wide range of different types of music that I like. So I'm not like, hey, I need something to pump me up before, or I need mellow music. When I sit and play, I guess it more depends on my mood because I like a lot of different kinds of music. So that being said, I'll usually be like, today I feel like whatever, and just put my earbuds in. Now, another thing going with the whole earbud thing is I make sure I can still hear the table talk. I never drown myself out. I'm never like, okay, everything's blasting and I don't hear somebody talk or, because there's a lot of things to learn by paying attention, obviously, in poker. But there's people that just put their headphones on, drown out everything else, and I think you miss a lot of valuable information when you do that. So that's one thing, with the whole 2 earbuds, I would have one earbud in and one earbud wrapped around my ear so I can have the music kind of keep me in the zone, but also pay attention to people talking, what people are saying, etc.
I used to listen to stuff that would hype me up, and then I feel like I kind of got too energetic going in. I was like,
and you forced yourself.
Yeah, I was ready to just
I definitely
fire.
I don't need a hype song like the guy coming out of the bullpen. I don't need a hype song.
I kind of
I'm hyped up to play. I don't need that.
I kind of like I'll listen to some mellow trance music, and it's still a little fast, but it's kind of instrumental, just stuff to kind of get my mind flowing, but nothing I don't look at I used to listen to music will pump me up, but then I found myself too ready to just fucking throw chips everywhere.
You don't want to do that.
So
I think you overreact and you don't play your best game. And again, it's a personal thing. If it works for people, great. That's not a thing for me where I feel like I need to be amped up. I get amped up playing the game. So.
Yeah, and so I mean that's pretty much it's nothing too crazy to get me in the zone. That's kind of my go-to. I make sure I'm a prep guy. So my clothes are laid out, my book bag's packed the night before. That's just from growing up, my mom always made me prep before school.
Hey,
so
that's a
all
good thing,
my stuff was laid out. But that's kind of my mental prep. But everyone's got their own thing. But I think I mean listen, every even big professional athletes, they all have a routine. Agreed. Having a routine, you might call it the zone or getting into the zone or prepping for the zone or having a routine. But the big basketball players, they got a routine. They have a morning routine that just gets them ready. Your mind knows, okay, he's doing A, B, and C. That must mean we are going to work here. You know,
and athletes, like poker players. Poker players are very superstitious. Hey, if I've been doing this, and this, and I had a great day, I'm gonna do it again. Why not?
And it's not so much I mean, listen, there are superstitions that we kind of think, but for me, it's more like I said, it's not so much superstitions as it is just mentally
comfort.
It's checking the boxes. Okay, I'm gonna go through this. I'm not
we're ready. Now we're ready.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do a dance with my hat backwards this way. I'm not like that, but just my mental,
not over the top, but just
things I like to eat, things I like to prep for, things to get ready.
Yeah.
All right. So